You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
What's going on, guys? So really quick, we're going to jump into today's video, something that's a little bit different for you guys. We are doing a live Zoom meeting here in conversation with some people that you guys have come to know, like, and trust, and that is Cycle CPA. We're going to be talking about all things bookkeeping, all things book prep as we go into the end of the year, and of course, getting ourselves ready for 2023. So Carla and Joe, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, I would say long time no see. It's only been about 3.5 weeks since Launchpreneur Academy Live. So you guys didn't get rid of us just yet, not that easily, right?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. That event, and it's amazing to see people coming together and looking to improve their business. And some of the speakers were just amazing. So very cool.
Yep. Well, it was really cool having you guys in the share. You guys had about a half-hour window talking about all things bookkeeping. I know, Carla, you went through a profit and loss statement, cash flow statement. It was a ton of fun, a lot of great feedback. And if you guys don't know, Cycle CPA is a bookkeeping firm that specializes in the lawn and landscaping industry. So we didn't want to do a big pitch here to just say, hey, go sign up with Cycle CPA if you guys need a bookkeeper. That is something that you guys can explore if you guys like what Carla and Joe are doing and want to get more information. We'll leave links in the description. But one thing that I wanted to do is just take a quick, maybe half-hour window of these guys' time and ask about some helpful tips for bookkeeping this time of year. So I'll tell you guys candidly, one of the biggest things that changed my wife and I's life, I wouldn't just say business, our life, was having a good quality bookkeeper. Because back in the day, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but my first 10 or so years in business, we were the shoebox full of receipt guy. We had all of our receipts in the shoebox. And basically around February or March, I started having conversations with my CPA about how did the year go. I had no clue because I had no quality books. I had no bookkeeping. I had no QuickBooks or data entry for any of my receipts, or no reconciliation. All these conversations that kind of put the fear of God in me, saying, I need to get this under control. So you guys specialize in everything I just said. So I'm really excited about having your guys' expertise on today. Before we go way down the rabbit hole and talk about some FAQs and maybe some helpful tips for these guys, can you guys give me your background from Cycle CPA, and we'll let you guys both maybe weigh in. So Joe, you want to go first, brother?
Absolutely. So I've had experience on both the operational side and finance side with service-based companies in the past, helping to quickly grow them. My job here is to take some of the accounting mumbo jumbo and CPA stuff that's in Carla's brain and a lot of our accountants, and trying to make that relatable to the green industry. And really help to make it a priority for a lot of companies. Awesome.
And then Carla, what's your role? How do you guys work together?
Yeah, so I'm the CPA and I really run the operational side. And so what we do here, like you said, bookkeeping services, but really we're meeting with clients quarterly or monthly to give them those KPIs, green industry benchmarks, so that they can make their financial decisions throughout the year.
Awesome. So help me maybe zoom out a little bit. I like to call it, what does a bookkeeper actually do? Because I mean, if I had the shoebox full of receipts, Carla, isn't that good enough?
Yeah. So a bookkeeper is someone who's going to take those receipts and enter them into an accounting system like QuickBooks or Xero, and really sort them for you every month and make sure that they're entered in. So you can look at your profit and loss statement of cash flows and balance sheet each month, and you're able to see how your business is performing financially. And then from there, you can pivot and make the decisions that you need to throughout the year. And you don't have to wait until the end of the year to get all of this stuff done and be surprised, right? So
I love it.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things as well about some of the software and technology, especially within the accounting space, like QuickBooks Online, which if you're out there and you're looking for a solution moving into 2023, QuickBooks Online is what a lot of green industry companies use. So, and the beauty of that is that you don't have to, individually enter in receipts. You can actually, connect it right to your business bank account or your credit card account. And then whether you have a bookkeeper or an accountant to go in there and categorize it, you can kind of go from there as well.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this really quick. So Launchpreneur Academy Live was our live event just a handful of weeks ago. You guys were there. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring you guys in, of course, was to share about bookkeeping and some best practices, but also give people the opportunity to run up to your guys' booth, ask any questions, potentially sign up for your guys' service. We're basically one of the big themes I took away personally from LAL 2022 was the conversation about building your team. And the last year or two, it's been a lot of know your numbers. And that's fine. And that's great. And I'm having continuous conversations with people saying, what does that mean? What does that look like? So for me personally, I was just hoping if you guys could just talk for a couple quick minutes about one, what is the role of a bookkeeper on your team? Why are they so important? And maybe some helpful tips that you guys have found working with people in the green industry to build those new relationships. And what are people finding out working with you guys?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is they want business owners want someone, to enter in receipts, right? And to be able to pull up a profit and loss statement. But really, when you get that data, you're kind of there and you're like, okay, this is great, but I don't really know what this means or how to move forward with this information.
Sure.
And so you want your bookkeeper and accountant, you want to meet with them at least monthly or quarterly to review the financials, to be able to walk you through, okay, this is where you need improvement on. Maybe you're overspending on materials, or maybe you're looking at your balance sheet and you see that you're not collecting on accounts receivable fast enough. And so you want to see if you're meeting your sales goals and stuff like that. And so what we do is, like, even in our first meeting with a new business owner, it's very educational. It's actually very basic. Our first meeting is going over the profit and loss and what it means, balance sheet and cash flow statement. And then we can have those other fun conversations about KPIs and develop them and really what it means and how they can go back to their teams and be able to be like, hey, listen, actually our closing ratio is not as high as I thought it was. Our bookkeeper said this, or we need to collect faster on AR, or we can actually buy that truck right now. It's not looking good for us right now. So that's really the insight that we were able to give. And that's what the business owners seem to really like.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh yeah, no, Brian, just to kind of build off, when it comes to building a team, thinking about, especially as you're first starting out in business, you may not be an expert in marketing or HR or accounting. So thinking about, okay, how can I, on a cost effective way, how can I get some of these people into my team? And that's where outsourcing things like your human resources or your payroll or accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, where you can get kind of that specialized look and some of that knowledge. So it's definitely something to think about. And, I don't want companies to feel like, it's only something that larger companies should look to do and stuff like that. It's, really something, you want to start with a good foundation, a lot of those aspects.
Amen to that. Let me ask you guys in open mic, but do you guys feel people are spending enough time in their numbers, or are people kind of playing catch up and putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, like this time of year? I mean, have you guys noticed that people should be spending more time in their numbers, or is it like 80-10 or 20-80 shiny equipment versus knowing your numbers? Like where do you guys see people focusing on?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that people need to spend more time. I mean, when we talk to a potential client of ours, it's like, yeah, I haven't done my books for the past year or two, or I've never done my books. And we've become expert cleanup at QuickBooks, like cleanup, getting your books caught up, all of that stuff. And, but once we get everything cleaned up and they're caught up on a monthly basis, then they have that like sigh of relief. Okay, now I'm going to get these reports. I'm able to meet with you all. And then they're like, oh, we should have done this sooner. And I wish I had this information. And because of the economic climate right now, you should be reviewing your numbers at least monthly because of pricing going up on material costs and all this stuff. You need to be able to pivot month to month, not year to year, quarter to quarter. It's going to be more important now going into 2023 more than ever to be able to pull up a profit and loss and be able to make those decisions on the spot.
Amen. Well said. One quick question I was going to have was, and maybe Joe, you can weigh in on this one a little bit. The conversation about having good quality reports and having a good bookkeeper on your team. It's not just for your lawn and landscaping business. It's really for your overall health of your personal finances. I think that's something that people often look. So, can you talk about the benefits of having quality books when you're trying to get a loan for a new mower or a truck or an apartment or a house? I mean, if you take a shoebox full of receipts to your banker, good luck trying to get a loan for a new vehicle or a mortgage. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think what's pretty underestimated as well when you're looking to, approach a bank or, even in the future, if you're looking to go sell your company, I mean, it really shows the professionalism of your company as well, and that's the first impression people get a lot of the times. And, and there's you want to put yourself in a position where if you need that piece of equipment, then you have numbers at your fingertips and you have accurate reports instead of having to wait, months and months to finally get this data compiled so you can go and get this equipment. Because as Carla mentioned, right now, speed is very important. Making sure that you have reports, if the materials, pricing is, fluctuating, supply chain issues, all these different things happening, you want to stay on top of that.
Carla, did you want to weigh in on that? You look like you're about to say something.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, because you want to look at historical information, you want to see certain trends within your P&L. And so being able to even have access to those trends is going to allow you to make decisions moving into the future based off of those trends. So one of the biggest things is like looking at your net profit trend. January through March, is that looking a little bit lower than the rest of the year? You need to be more conservative and so on. So it kind of gives you a heads up for how the rest of the year will look like.
Yeah, amen to that. One thing that this is a real life story. I was looking at my books the other day, and I had a chunk of income, and I've learned over the last couple of years how to start reading these different reports and statements. And I will tell you guys honestly, I do not do what you guys do. God bless you guys. But I've learned that the numbers tell a story. And so I was just scanning some things. I was actually on a quarterly review, actually kind of an end of year review with my CPA. And we were looking at all of our bookkeeping, and we noticed one or two small things that just had to get kind of cleaned up. But there was a chunk of income that was what we later found to be reported as basically double counted income. Wow. And so I said, well, that's not supposed to be there. And so any which way, this extra chunk of income, and this is just one simple example of what a good bookkeeper and a good CPA and professionals can do. The whole conversation is that what you should spend on a quality service or a bookkeeper, a CPA, a lawyer, if you will, they should have a 5, 10x multiple return back for that investment, right? So I was talking to my CPA, and we noticed this chunk of income that was double counted, and the tax ramifications was like $10,000 to $20,000. So I would have been on the hook for that tax liability if we we didn't catch this simple accounting, I wouldn't say mistake. It was just, I was transferring money back and forth and we just didn't categorize the funds or the income correctly. Any which way, that was one, I'm glad I have a monthly or quarterly review. But number two, investing into that service, I wouldn't have even known what was going on if we didn't have a good bookkeeper to help us out with that. And so my point is, what I wanted to just, maybe if you guys want to weigh in for just a quick second, was if you're getting your taxes done, don't just take the shoebox full of receipts and the Excel file that you put together at 11 o'clock at night the day before, and then dump that on your CPA and say, hey, make magic happen. Like I did that for a decade. That's just not how professionals work. And as a lawn care business owner, I know we're really good at the mowers and the trimming and the blowing and the laying stripes, but you really do need to focus on the back end office as a business owner. And that includes bookkeeping. So can you guys, if you'd like to weigh in, would you like to talk about for just a quick second? I think it's a helpful tip that people need to get their ducks in a row and start paying attention to this stuff, because your CPA is not going to just pull a rabbit out of the hat and just say, hey, your taxes look beautiful. Like, it's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, if you're using that strategy of taking that Excel sheet or the backs of receipts, there's going to be so much that's missing. Like, that's not all that there is as far as expenses go. I think, what we see is, like, we had a client that had like, 5 loans. Those were never booked on QuickBooks, and they missed out on years worth of interest that they could have.
Wow.
Yeah. And that interest, it's not a couple of $100 a year, it's thousands of dollars a year. And it's because they used that strategy. The CPA didn't know that they had loans, or maybe it wasn't communicated correctly, whatever the reason is. The point is that they would have been able to lower their tax liability if their bookkeeping was done every month. And the reconciliation, a lot of business owners think, oh, well, I reconcile my bank accounts, but you also have to reconcile your loans and your assets. Because if you purchase a new mower, trailer, that needs to go on the books, and you'll be able to write that off at the end of the year. So that's one of the big things that we see missing. And then I also have a horror story about kind of doubling up on revenue. Like you said, we had a client, come in and their revenue was overstated by $50,000 that entire year. And it was because of duplicate undeposited funds thing on QuickBooks. That's just a mess. But we went in there, we caught it. Of course, we were able to match those up to the appropriate deposits and able to back out that duplicate. But like you said, if you have a good accountant, CPA, it's going to be well worth the money at that point, right?
Oh, yes. Very much so. And that's the thing too. Like, I just feel so many people, and I say this with love because I was that guy for a decade. It's having those conversations in February, March, and April, trying to make the previous year look as good as possible. And I'll put an asterisk there because that could look like any, different things for different people. Maybe you're trying to take home a bunch of income to qualify for a mortgage. That's a great strategy. Other times you might want to be heavily reinvesting into the business or have other write-offs that bring your income down, and you don't want to take as much home, if you will. That's another strategy. But you can't have those conversations with your bookkeeper and your CPA if you're not going to have proper documentation and really spend some time focusing on this stuff. I literally just swept it under the rug. One thing too, if we could just hit on this for a quick second, is talking about compliance. I mean, it's not a sexy topic, but from audits and compliance and proper bookkeeping, best practices. I'm not sure which one of you guys might be able to weigh in on that a little bit more, but it's a very, very important topic that even on other channels that get a little bit more technical, I've never seen people really go down that rabbit hole about compliance and the big A word, making sure that nobody gets audited, or if you do, you can feel confident in that audit because you've got great books. Can any of you guys relate to that, or have any like crazy horror stories like you were talking about, Carla?
Yeah. So, if you ever get into an audit, really what the auditor is going to look at is your financial statements and your tax returns, and they're going to want to tie that back to receipts, right? So your receipts you keep for 7 years, and what I recommend is archiving it by month on your receipts. But I think that one of the biggest things is when a business owner does their own bookkeeping, they may think something is tax deductible when it's not, and it can cause a huge issue once you get audited, or you may, lose out on some tax deductions, like I said in the past. And so that, and also the IRS goes based off of industry benchmarks too. Like they have their own benchmarking that raises a red flag. So if you put too much meals and entertainment on there, they'll be like, oh, I don't think you spend this much on office supplies or on meals. Like what's going on here? And so just keeping that in mind. Another big red flag would be that I run across is S corps and business owners and how they pay themselves. So one of the biggest mistakes is business owners will pay themselves more on a W-2. They pay themselves less on W-2 and take more owner's draws with an S corp, and that's a red flag. Like you need to pay yourself more on W-2 and take less owner's draws, and that's something that you have to have a conversation with your tax accountant on a quarterly basis at least, because it could be a pretty advantageous entity structure, but you have to know how to use it correctly.
Yep. Amen to that. And again, I think the conversation is having the conversation, right? Like you got to talk to your bookkeeper quarterly or monthly. Of course, having somebody that can put all this together for you. Look, I'll be honest with you guys, myself and many of you guys may be listening in. If you're watching this far into the show, we love cutting grass. We love doing landscaping. We like to have craft time, designing, building, installing, maintaining, applicating. That's fine. That's kind of front of the house. And again, you don't have to necessarily be doing the back of the house, but somebody has to. And so 2 things. 1, find somebody. I'd highly encourage you guys to check out Cycle CPA. Number 2 is having those conversations with a Cycle CPA to educate you as well, because your effectiveness working with them is going to be predicated on your financial IQ. And so I love the word I think you used earlier, Carla, was partnering with new clients. Is in the beginning, it's a mess. My story was a mess, I'll be honest. But as you onboard and on ramp and you start learning the lingo and having the conversations, you start getting your reps in, you're going to be a more effective partner with your professionals that you're hiring out to help you make sure that your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, I's are dotted. I think I said that word backwards. And but just be able to work together effectively. So can you guys have any like recent signups or testimonies or some fun, maybe year over year, maybe somebody's been working with you guys for a year now, it's been a 1-year review. Any fun stories you guys want to share?
Yeah, I do. So I had a client that's, kind of suffering with cash flow issue problems. So, if kind of having trouble meeting payroll, right? That's
I've been there.
that's anxiety causing. I couldn't go to sleep. I'm like, oh, how am I going to help this client? So we created a cash flow forecast, which pretty much we're looking at the cash projections for the next 6 to 12 months. And what we're able to do is drill down into what's causing this. And the real reason, it wasn't because they weren't bringing in enough revenue or bringing in enough sales, because we looked at their sales KPIs, everything was good. It wasn't that. It was that their accounts receivable collection process was too slow. And no one knew. The business owner thought, oh, well, yeah, I mean, that number looks good. I'm okay with that. And no one was holding that person or those group of people accountable that's in charge of collecting, right? And so what we were doing is reviewing their accounts receivable efficiency, the turnover rate each month, and also looking at their AR report and saying, well, what are some ways that we can collect faster? Kind of give them like 3 things that they can do. And so each month we kept working at it and working on, with the person in-house that's going to collect. And we had that KPI there now. So they had that measure that they had to, or goal that they had to meet. And, we were able to really turn it around for them now. They don't have that anxiety of, am I going to meet payroll? I have the cash in the bank. I'm going to meet my credit card payments and my loan payments. So it's been very rewarding with them.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I think that was one of the fun conversations that we had at Entrepreneur Academy was we had a friend named Mike. Andy's come in. He was very about the numbers. And he said, look, all the mower catalogs and pamphlets and YouTube videos that you watch are great. But the reality is that you need to get into your numbers. And Mike's been a champion of that voice for a while. Let you guys know, Mike, great dude. The conversation there is the numbers tell a story. They tell a more concise story. Again, we get up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. We rush out the door. We got to go mow 20 lawns that day. I get it. You just got to, it's the hustle and bustle. But again, you have to pay attention to this stuff. I have a friend of mine, another Mike, where he found it more beneficial on Monday morning from 8 to 10 in the morning to review his numbers, his office, his cash flow projections, his accounts receivable you're talking about, Carla. Get a, what would you call it, like a pulse, have his thumb on the pulse about where his business was at, and then rush out the door. He's got about a 45-minute commute to his local market. So traffic is gone by then, right? The rush hour. And so he found it more beneficial to spend 2 hours on a Monday morning, look at his numbers, review his books, if you will, and then to go rush out the door and slay the dragons versus like so many of us do. And I've been guilty of it. I don't want to pretend I'm a saint here. I would look at this maybe once or twice a year at best. And usually it was at February or March when I'm pulling the emergency, handle, the oh crap handle, right, Joe? And saying, dude, we got to get this stuff together. I've got to, prepare my taxes by April 15th or April 17th, So let me ask you guys this really quick. It's we can kind of probably land the plane here in just a quick second. I super appreciate you guys jumping on and sharing some industry insight and some helpful tips and being a resource for the industry. What have you guys seen out there that has been helping people the most that have been signing up recently? I know you said you're playing a lot of cleanup, which I can relate to. But is there still time to sign up right now? Can you guys still help with 2022? And then really, where can we focus for, steering the ship, putting it in the right direction for 2023? Joe, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it, even going back to how you were mentioning where your friend Mike, he kind of takes those 4 hours on Mondays to kind of go over the numbers. It's kind of that change in priorities and the change in mindset, of, thinking that, oh, wow, I need to get all this information compiled and done for taxes. Whereas our clients, we have them basically in a system where we are meeting with them this time of year. Instead of them having to think about all these things and, this catch up and stuff like that, they're planning for 2023.
I love it.
They're using their historical data from 2023. They're looking at that information and saying, oh, wow, my cash levels were really low in these months. Okay, how am I going to plan in 2023 to make sure that doesn't happen? And it's a lot of it comes down to having those accurate inputs. If you're making something like a budget for the next year, I know this time of year, a lot of our clients are thinking about whether they're building out a CRM or their own budget, and for their pricing and estimating in 2023, thinking about, kind of the accuracy of that. And it really all boils down to, and it starts with the bookkeeping and the numbers. So I would say that's one of the biggest things. And, we are taking on new clients right now. And, I would say a good amount do need catch-up work. So we are definitely ready to, work if anyone needs help with that. But what gets us really excited is, once that catch-up work is done, and I know you kind of touched on this too, Brian, where, it could be kind of an intimidating thing to do and to really see into your numbers. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. And even if we clean up the books and the accounting is set, and even if the numbers aren't where you want them to be, maybe the profits are showing really low, that's the first step in the right direction. And without that, you can't move forward. So, I just encourage anyone watching, whether you try to learn it yourself, which could be pretty difficult, or, you hire an outsourced company like us, definitely make that move, because you are going to get the return on that for sure. So.
Yeah, I love it. I will tell you honestly, and I can relate on every single point we're talking about. It's I wish I couldn't, but I've made all the glaring mistakes. My other friend Mike, same one I was talking about 5 years ago, he brought his arm around my shoulder and he said, "Hey, dude, I know you're excited about life and business and crushing this thing. Have you been paying attention to like your back end office?" And candidly, the conversation was, "Nope." I said, "We do the work, we bill, whether I got cash or no cash." I said, "We just get to the next lawn," right? It was just honestly the spinning rat wheel. We were not building any type of real equity in the business. We weren't really building any wealth with the business or our life. It was a really challenging conversation. I'll be honest with you. And I took that same conversation to my wife, and I said, "Hey, I think we need to hire a bookkeeper, and we need some help." And I remember like it was yesterday. My wife Liz, a lot of you guys know Liz. She said, "We don't have any money to hire a bookkeeper, and we don't have any money in general. Like, these people are going to see our personal finances," which is a very intimate conversation. It's a very intimate topic. And I was all gung ho, we need to hire somebody. And Liz wasn't anti that. She was just, I think, transparently embarrassed. Yeah. We were 30 years old. We didn't have a lot of money coming in. We were doing a lot of work. That's the point. Like, we were just smoking the tires. And I said, "Well, we need to hire these people to help us figure out what the heck is going on and to get our ducks in a row and to get organized." And I'll be honest, that's a very tough conversation for a lot of people these days, is to let somebody help you. It's okay to ask for help. In fact, I've come to find that the most successful people I know are asking a lot of people for help all the time. It's the opposite. They want to build a team. They want expert opinions and advice and suggestions. And they want to have other people that are smarter than them, right? Get around them. And so if you guys are in that position before where you might be embarrassed or you don't know where the money's going to come from, Joe and Carla, they can help you guys do that. I highly endorse what they're doing for the industry, for the community. So many of you guys have been signing up with them since we were able to partner up about a little over a year ago. So yeah, I mean, that's my closing thoughts. If you guys want to weigh in on, also if there's any promotions or if people want to get involved, my baby in the background, we didn't really want to make this a big pitch, but if you guys do need a good bookkeeper, I highly implore you guys to check out Carla and Joe and what they're doing at Cycle CPA. They've been honestly a great asset for the industry. Thank you, Brian. And, definitely, you can use the Brian's 10 promo code to get $200 off. And so don't forget about that too. But, we're really excited because although it's been crazy, I mean, coming out of COVID and then inflation and, all these different things happening, we're excited for this next year and, looking to help any companies looking for, some guidance there. Amen. Carla, you got any final thoughts, girl? I know you're always thinking.
No, like Joe said, it's such an exciting year to go into 2023 with your business and started things off new and fresh. And maybe you're someone who wants to start with the year right with a bookkeeper and accountant. feel free to reach out to us and we can have a talk and see if we're a good fit.
Awesome. You guys don't bite, right? You guys don't bite?
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes. There you go. I love it. Well, where can people follow along? You guys, by the way, if you don't want to sign up and you guys just want to plug into a great resource, they have a ton of great webinars that they do weekly and monthly. You guys got a great Instagram page going. Where can they find more info from you guys?
Yeah, so our YouTube channel, Cycle CPA, we just did a webinar actually on
it's okay.
on budgeting and planning for 2023. And
she's we're about to go Christmas shopping. I don't know if you guys saw her a second ago, but she's we're about to leave for a car ride to go get Christmas ornaments. So sorry about that.
That's awesome. No, Christmas is super important. So
it is for us. Yeah, we're excited. Yeah. So, but she looks adorable as ever. This is real life, guys. This is what you get unfiltered. So
yep, exactly. No, but yeah, and then so the YouTube channel, we have some of the past webinars and some of the content we have on there. We have a Facebook group, Landscaping Accountant, where we're pretty active in as well. So either one of those is definitely a good start. Sure. Beautiful.
And then where's the website if they want to sign up and do a quick consult with you guys?
Yeah, so it's cyclecpa.com. CYCLE CPA.com.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for today's quick YouTube video here and little webinar series. Appreciate you guys taking time to jump on and just be a resource for the community and the industry. You guys are doing great things. I know dozens and dozens of folks have been signing up with you guys and just getting peace of mind. I mean, at the end of the day, and it's really what it's all about. I will tell you, last 5 years working with a bookkeeper has changed our life. So I can just tell you guys firsthand experience that if you want to make 2023 your best year ever, and you want to stop worrying about your cash flow and where your numbers are at and being audited or compliance or being able to just, like Carla said, have the numbers paint a picture and listen in and see what that's saying and really get your business as healthy as possible. I really implore you guys to check out Cycle CPA. They've been great, just friends as well, by the way. I mean, we're always talking business, but I really got to know you guys this last 12 plus months. And again, thank you for making the trek all the way out to Novi, Michigan a couple of weeks ago. Everybody loved having you guys in. So thank you for what you guys have been doing in the community.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's what I got for you guys on today's quick video. And if you guys are maybe listening into the replay on the podcast, check them out at cyclecpa.com. We'll leave links in the description. Give them a shout. It's not too late in the season to get signed up. And of course, get your books all figured out and cleaned up and all your ducks in a row for 2023. So over and out, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Remember to mention Brian when you sign up with Cycle CPA to save $200 off the startup cost. As Brian mentioned, the link to find out more about Cycle CPA is in the show description. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and on behalf of Brian and Liz and everyone here at the Fullerton Unfiltered team, a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and Happy New Year.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.